What is spirituality? I am Douglas K. Poore at practical-spirituality.org. This is a summary of knowledge I have gathered with loving spirit from a 35-year odyssey and process of spiritual awakening. This summarization arises from a continuous study of most religious and spiritual disciplines over the millennia of oral and written history. This inquiry includes a combination of knowledge from Taoism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Orthodox through Reformed Christianity, Islamism, and moving progressively to contemporary and New Thought assemblies. This includes lesser-known spiritual traditions. What is spirituality? To define spirituality is to look at the infinite, boundless wonderment of spiritual love. It is living and loving, growing and developing our human soul. Living spiritually, we are in love with all there is. There is a divine love that is everywhere in the universe, to which we are innately connected. In spirituality, we are all in oneness, wholeness, serenity, harmony, peace, and bliss. A quote: "Love is the bridge between you and everything," by Rumi. Love is the bedrock of spirituality. Spiritual love is rooted in a universal connection that helps us find meaning and purpose in our lives. Love is needed to be active spiritual beings. We are then able to lovingly embrace our spirituality in a more profound way through our individual intuition and our own truth. Spiritual love is the state in which we dwell. Here's a thought inspired by the writing of Christopher Moore. Spiritual love is not something we think about. It is a state in which we dwell. Spiritual love is deep and unconditional. In the process of our spiritual awakening, we are learning universal love, compassion, and oneness. We are all one. This is the center and focus of all spiritual knowledge. Our oneness in loving spirit has been taught by the mystics through the millennia. Love is the foundation of all spirituality. A quote: "In love lies the seed of our growth. The more we love, the closer we are to the spiritual experience," by Paulo Coelho. Spirituality includes a sense of a loving connection to something bigger than ourselves, and it typically involves a search for meaning in life. A quote: "The spiritual journey is the unlearning of fear and the acceptance of love," by Marianne Williamson. Spirituality is a universal human experience, something that touches us all. People may describe a spiritual experience as sacred, transcendent, or simply a deep sense of aliveness and loving interconnectedness. Here's a thought inspired by the writing of Mata Amriten and Amayi Devi. Spiritual love is without limits or boundaries. Defining spirituality is broadened to refer to a wider range of experience including spanning many esoteric traditions. Some people find comfort in a loving, personal relationship with God's Spirit, a higher power. Others seek meaning through their connections to nature or art. Some may find that their spiritual life is linked to their association with a church, temple, mosque, synagogue, ashram, the cathedral of nature, and more. Here's a thought inspired by the writing of Deepak Chopra. Spirituality is the domain of awareness, where we experience values like truth, goodness, beauty, love, compassion, intuition, creativity, insight, and focused attention. Spiritually, our sense of purpose. Our personal definition of spirituality may change throughout our life, adapting to our own experiences and relationships. This is occurring individually and collectively, and quite often not in organized religious institutions. A quote, "The spiritual life does not remove us from the world, but leads us deeper into it," by Henri J.M. Nouwen. In modern times, the emphasis is on subjective experience and the deepest values and meanings by which we live. The experience is spiritually incorporating loving personal growth and transformation. We are connecting to our spiritual oneness. We are all one in spiritual love. Here's a thought inspired by the writing of Sri Mata Amritan and Amai Devi. Spiritual love for oneself does not mean the self-centered love of the ego. It means to love life. Spirituality can be defined generally as an individual's loving search for ultimate or sacred meaning and purpose in life, working to make sense of one's own inner dimension. Long-held spiritual traditions are being blended to reach the true self through a loving self-disclosure, free expression, and meditation. Here's a thought inspired by the writing of Benjamin E. Mays. We need more spiritual enlightenment and insight to act on the light we have. The use of mindfulness, contemplation, meditation, and similar practices are suggested to help us seek and lovingly cultivate our inner life and character. This brings us in alignment with the oneness of all creation. Living a spiritually centered life develops inner peace and forms a foundation for happiness. Here's a thought inspired by the writing of Sri Chinmoy. Listen to your inner light. It will guide you. Listen to inner peace. It will feed you. Listen to inner love. It will transform you. It will divinize you. It will immortalize you. Within loving spirituality is also found a common emphasis on the value of thoughtfulness, forgiveness, acceptance, and tolerance of the entire universe of people, places, things, all animals, plants, and atoms of the universe. We can also gain the insights from all loving spiritual traditions. A quote, "We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience," by Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. There is a positive correlation between spirituality and mental well-being. We gain an experience of higher intrinsic meaning in life with inner peace. The sense of transcendence experienced in spiritual meditation is a universal experience. A quote, "Meditation and concentration are the way to a life of serenity," by Baba Ram Dass. Emotional and spiritual well-being overlap, and as the mystics have taught, we can, through our loving spiritual faith, heal ourselves and others and provide well-being. Here's a thought inspired by the writing of Murshid Samuel Lewis. Spiritual love holds the cells of bodies as a unity. Living a loving spirituality is seeking a meaningful connection with something bigger than oneself that results in increased positive emotions. Transcendent moments are filled with peace, awe, gratitude, appreciation, inspiration, admiration, and contentment. A quote, "It is through gratitude for the present moment that the spiritual dimension of life opens up," by Eckhart Tolle. In the final, focused analysis, spirituality is love, the essence of who we are. Spirituality is infinite love, boundless, healing, sharing, forgiving, growing, and transcending. Spirituality is a loving oneness of all in the universe. We are all one, and we are all divine. Spirituality is the loving oneness that connects everyone and everything. A quote, "From spiritual connection springs kindness, connection, social activism, and love," by Danny Shapiro. Practical spirituality is living a spiritually centered life. This involves cooperatively working together through love, wisdom, and action to improve our lives for the common good of all. And it is applying loving spiritual solutions to resolve our human problems on a local, regional, and global level. Here's a thought inspired by the writing of Anton Saint Martin. "Within you dwells the loving, infinite wisdom of the ages, and the sacred, creative force of all there is, will be, and ever was." We all are the essence of love, understanding, tolerance, forgiveness, consciousness, and enlightenment. Now may you go in peace, love, and oneness of spirit in loving spirituality to everyone and everything. We are all one. What is spirituality? Has been lovingly made possible in spirit for you by www.practical-spirituality.org. Production by dd-tv.com. I'm Douglas K. Poore. I honor and bless everyone in the healing light of the divine, indwelling spirit of universal love, soul, that our world will come together through the spiritual solution to save ourselves from ourselves.